therefore going to be heavily influenced by these operator bans. Lion taken out first by Obey, so no big surprise there. He is one of the most commonly banned attackers. Second ban from Strength is going to be Glass. Also not a huge surprise. You know, we haven't really seen one of these ban phases go in any direction that isn't what we're seeing right now in a long time. Usually it's just the same operators every here and there. You're probably going to see a Mira ban. If it's not here, it'll be the next one. Then probably an Echo, Maestro. Or, you know, they could get a little creative. Maybe a Pulse or a Mute ban would be definitely good on a map like Oregon. But we'll see.
I'm actually very curious to know how you approach this ban, because I'm not sure how much Obey knows about a team like Strength. Do you just go for standard bans? You can't really target ban necessarily because you don't really know the opposing team. I mean,
right.
There's not as much data on Strength as there is other teams that Obey have played. And I mean, for Strength, it's relatively easy because you know habits of Obey. They're easy to find. You can look them up. It doesn't take too much research. So with Obey banning Echo and Lion, that would suggest to me these are just two operators that are pretty commonplace for bans. It's going to leave Maestro open, as Mira was the other defender ban. Both hard breachers available. So this definitely looks like with both Echo and Mira banned, at face value, I think you're walking away with what should end up being a pretty attacker-sided thing here. But I mean, it really depends on the way that these defenders play things out. You still have Smoke available, you still have Maestro available, you're likely going to have quite a bit of roam presence. If you're playing upstairs, you're likely going to be bringing possibly a Mute, a Valkyrie, a Legion. If you're playing over in Kitchen or in Tower, you're going to double up on ACOGs, likely bringing a Rook or a Doc as well. So there's still a fighting chance for the defense here, but having both hard breachers on the board and no Mira, that makes it a little bit more challenging for the defense.
Both hard breachers. Man, it's still fresh, isn't it?
Saying both hard breachers, because technically Maverick is also a hard breacher.
We've been saying it for so long. It's just...
I mean, technically he is a hard breacher, but he doesn't really breach.
He operates more like a Thatcher than anything, or just like someone who generates opportunities where there weren't any. Anyway, the top floor hold coming out here. You can see we're got a Mute being played. Mute, a very popular operator on Oregon, but more for his usefulness on the basement defense. On the top floor, he's useful, sure, but not quite as much. I like the so far what we have from the Mute jammers, though. Good placement from Obey. We also had a Valkyrie 6-pick into a Maestro, which is somewhat interesting. I imagine the Valkyrie is being picked because you gotta have that information, and you fake it out in the expectation that there's going to be an IQ, but it just was not a 6-pick IQ from Strength, so not the case.
So, we are only 30 seconds in, trying to take out these Mute jammers here. Cloudstruck will be the very first casualty. Adam through the door downstairs. Playing over by Tower, the Jaeger will get kill number 1. Odd inside now, looking up top, trying to figure out if the Jaeger is still somewhere nearby. A nice rotate hole inside the attic. Possibly something that's available for Strength to use if need be, but that's your only set of smokes off the board there for Strength. That's tough. Also, as you mentioned with these Mute jammers, there's no Twitch or Thatcher, so there's no real easy way to deny those Mute jammers outside of expending possible frag grenades or getting underneath and blowing them up. Yardi taking out Skies, the Maestro. That is a big pick, and a frag grenade is going to get tossed in from Yardi as well. That's going to clear up the Mute jammers that were situated over by the closet and going to allow that exothermic charge of Strength to go off, getting them free passage from the closet all the way into Generator.
Now, my man still does have the C4 from below in all likelihood. Yes, he does, and he hasn't been cleared out. He will be droned by AWD, so the information is there, but that does not remove the threat. Bosco, great position to use his gas canisters to delay this round. And you can see my man is actually rotated to the top of white. Adam in the perfect spot to get his second kill, and he will do just that. But as he does, AWD takes out Benji. So it's still even as the push comes in from Buck. That's Yardi. He goes down to Adam. That's the third for the Jaeger in the round. And you can see AWD getting another one for himself as well. 2 versus 2, very tight match. You can see one inside of the Master going into Generator. That's going to be the planter, and he's going to go for it right now. Great positioning right now, but Adam gets a fourth, and Bosco gets the final. So no ace 4 out. But an excellent round overall from Obey, and I'm really impressed by Strength constantly fragging that back.
The long-haired, bearded brute of Adam, just smashing things open with a nice 4K. At no point did Strength really, at no point did we see Strength really commit droning to anything that was not on site. That's how Adam was essentially allowed to just keep rotating over and over again. He really ran the whole mile. Adam went all the way from rear stage up to tower, back to rear stage, got the kill, rotated to small tower, doing the double tower duty, and then making it back towards site through big window. Ultimately, he ran the gamut, getting, I think, probably as many steps as he could in through that entire map. And at no point did they seem to know where he was. And that's because if you noticed, the way that Strength were using those drones, they were using them on site. And I mean, they had one point where I think it was both Swerve and Odd were both droning the same area, and both those drones get shot out. That's not the perfect use of your drone economy.
There's two factors there. First factor, of course, is that Strength were not very focused on clearing out the roamers. A big part of that was that they lost their Jackal early on. That is a huge loss. It was, in fact, the first kill that Adam managed to get of his 4. The second factor is the mute. The mute jammers were able to delay and deny all of the other drones that were attempting to clear out not only the site, but also any potential roam clear, as they were placed above and below. So, good use of utility from Obey, the loss of utility from the Jackal, and that allowed Adam as an individual to just run around and do so much damage that it was something that Strength couldn't recover from. A big thing to note there is that if Adam had not gotten those 4 kills, if he had not been always hitting his opponents from the side, that would have been a Strength round. They were fragging out. They were doing a lot of work. They just could not isolate that one roaming Jaeger.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Adam typically feels quite comfortable on this map, and I say that because I vividly remember how he relatively new to the team. Oh no, the Maestro could get caught out here. Merc getting very, very close, and oh, Adam! Oh no, I was just trying to sing your praises, and he gets pulverized as he's still doing setup work up top. 30 seconds in, you're doing setup work? Surprising. Strength got in the building so quickly, and they're going to get a free kill there.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see Strength being so assertive, taking control of tower, droning it out in the prep phase, and then just forcing their players in there. Now they're putting a lot of pressure onto Benji, who's actually going to be caught off guard in all likelihood. But no, it's not to be, as he narrowly avoids death, rotating into Classroom. Nice angle play from AWD, but he's not going to be able to get the final kill onto Benji. He just backs away with a little bit of HP. Skies will take down Merc, but he's taken some damage as well, and so is my man. So currently HP advantage heavily in Strength's favor. And as Cloudstruck takes out my man, it's looking better and better. They are fragging out heavily right now. Still inside of Classroom, it's going to be Benji, and he's just trying to challenge AWD as he pushes into this meeting.
This is winnable for either operator. It really just depends on who moves around. All out of concussions for Odd, just with the impact ability for him. He's got Cloudstruck. He's got Cloudstruck downstairs, and Buck not too close either, so you've got 3 members of Strength who are all very far apart. You also saw Swerve, the Thermite, doing a great job. And a double kill from Odd will come out. Skies and Benji will bid adieu inside of Meeting Hall. And Bosco, last man, tasked with trying to stop all this. Pre-fire, but no, it'll miss, and Swerve collecting that final kill. That round fell apart for Obey very, very early on. Way too many bodies, nowhere near the site. Odd capitalizing upon that, and the rest of Strength just needed to roll towards the site, and they rolled in style. Bosco in a 1v4, almost unwinnable.
I gotta say, I really like what I'm seeing from Strength so far. Again, their assertiveness in that round was what allowed them to take it, taking out the Maestro so very early. It's a heavy prep operator. You combine that with the fact that he is just trying to set up the attic, one of the far off-site locations. But apart from that, just ruthless abandon from Strength's strategy. They're just pushing into tower. We've got the drones, we got the information, push it, push it, push it. And again, I really do like to see that.
So we'll go back down to Laundry Supply Room, and we'll see. Can Obey manage to get their setup done a little bit earlier on? I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. Losing that Maestro, you look at Obey's lineup, the Maestro plays a very pivotal role in terms of information collecting information, gathering, and then possible even soft plant denial. That's up there definitely with the smoke of Bosco in doing most of the work for that plant denial outside of maybe an errant C4 that'll get tossed out. Ultimately, things fell apart so fast there. Meeting hall control was wrestled away from Obey within seconds. It was 40 seconds in, and we already saw Strength have complete control of Meeting Hall. Outside of that, there wasn't a lot of presence from Obey. They had, what, 2 bodies playing over by Classroom on that main floor? That was it. It was very disjointed from Obey. A bit of sloppiness around the edges there, and Strength, I think, picked up on that. You saw at one point they had 2 bodies pushing inside a meeting with a drone from Swerve coming in, all that information being given. And then Strength just used that to their advantage. They capitalized very, very well.
I think that's the thing that impresses me most so far about Strength is that they're just forcing out opportunities. They aren't wasting time questioning whether or not they can do something. They are just droning themselves in and pushing. No wasted time on the thought process. And it's working out great for them so far. Right now, they're going to be clearing out Tower in an attempt to take the basement once more. They made it work last time, and they are not going to get the same early frags as they did in the previous round. Adam has learned his lesson. Merc goes down, and now Strength are going to have to fight back against the Maestro. And Adam's going to get another one. Easy kill for him. Just waiting at the end of this attic. Is he going to get a third? He's certainly going for it. Odd takes a lot of damage there, and Benji's going to finish him off. So Obey collapsing on this tower push. My man gets another, and it's all up to Cloudstruck.
He's going to see the elbow of Bosco there and try to go for a quick peek around the soft wall, but there will be no more. Obey answering back just as swiftly as we saw from Strength in the previous round. They're all just doubling up. Obey really committing to that roam presence. Almost everybody, once again, off-site, very heavy fragging potential. Strength barely even made it in the building. So a complete reverse of fortunes, a reversal of fortunes here with Strength making it into the building and taking up almost complete map control within 40 seconds in the previous round. This time, barely even making it through the window. They get to the attic hole that was created by Adam, and, well, they just get gunned down.
Yeah, we could see that experience shining through for Obey and the lack thereof for Strength. It really comes down to the fact that they were unable to adjust their strategy from the previous attempt. You usually cannot repeat 2 against a team, or the same strategy 2 times in a row against a team like Obey. It's not going to work out great for you if you attempt to do so. And that's what we just saw. Kids Dorms, the next site for Obey. And they were successful here the first time around, so the expectations are high. Adam did get a 4K, though, in that round, and I don't expect him to drop a 4K again. I think the thing that we need to see from Strength is their ability to lock down that roam game. If they can do that, if they can force Obey into the site, then they might be able to pull off this round. They also have some really good tools here. You see they've rotated into a Twitch, which will allow them to deal with those Mew Jammers. And they've also brought a Capitao for the smokes instead of a Jackal.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the lineup that Strength used here the very first round, right? I mean, the Jackal was okay, but I mean, you don't really need a Jackal on Oregon, you know? I mean,
he also just didn't work.
Yeah, and I mean, you picked off by Adam as he was just trying to get to that back tower. I mean, your whole purpose is to hunt down roamers, and you get killed by a roamer before you can even get in the building. That's rough.
Speaking of.
Skies with a spawn peak onto Odd. So long, Zofia. We'll see what this Twitch can accomplish along with the Capitao. As you mentioned, the changes to Strength schedule, or not schedule. Not schedule. They're roster. Obey here with Vigil on the board. This is once again a very heavy frag lineup from Obey. So Obey are going to be able to play really loose off of site. Aggression from both sides though. Ash and Operator we don't see all that often. Will be brought out for Strength just to give them a little bit more possible flexibility and killing potential, which is going to be needed now that the Zofia is down.
Yeah, I mean the nature of the United States players usually is that you have them be a little bit more on the fragger side of things than some other regions, like Europe, for example. And it takes refinement and time for that to get, ironed out. And I think at the beginning of the match, Obey were attempting to use their experience, their refinement in this match, but they seem to have shifted just a little bit to the frag mentality after losing that second round. And it's definitely working out for them. Of course, it did work out for them in the first round as well. Just Adam going crazy. Interesting here that Yardy's able to push his way into Generator with no contention. He will back off, so he's not committing fully to this push. But just looking for an opportunity. Potentially could have had one. It's now lost. As you can see, Sky's going to relocate.
Doesn't look like any droning going on right now on the board for Strength. Adam on a rotate trying to come in through Attic. You'll see the Mute taking a little bit of damage, but Skies will tag in. He's also lost a little bit of damage, or a little bit of health. Yardy finds Maman, so that push that Obey had on the stairs will need to be able to get back to site a little closer. Bosco gets dropped from Yardy. That F2 will chew through just about anything. Yardy finds a third on the Skies. That F2 is just going wild. Benji and Adam now tasked with carrying the load. Yardy gets his fourth, looking for them all. Adam stands in the way, and Yardy with the ace! He'll take them all down. Nobody from Obey can stop Yardy with the wonderful SK skin on the F2. That'll be Strength, evening it out 2-2.
Great job there to Yardy. And honestly, this match, Parker, it's I don't want to say devolving, but it is coming down to pure fragging power. That is certainly what we're witnessing right now, because the strategy being used by Strength so far on the attack is about as basic as it comes. It's efficiently executed, and I have to commend them for that. But the main thing that's allowing Strength to take rounds, and Obey alike, fragging power. Who's getting the kills? Where are they happening? Who are they happening onto? So far, that has been the entire deciding factor throughout this match, and we will go to Kids Dorms once more for Obey. This is their last defensive round, and it will decide who wins the first half.
It's been just a slugfest between both of these teams. The amount of bodies that we've seen Obey committing off-site is really unusual, to say the least. I don't know if it'll carry over when Strength does go to defense, as you noted. This is Obey's last time on defense here. I like the fact that the operator bans lead the attackers to having a distinct advantage, but I don't know how much has even played into it. There hasn't been that much reshaping from the attackers. So one of the main things with having a Buck, a Sledge open, a Zofia open, a Thermite, a Thatcher, a Hibana, all of those on the board, means that you can play a bit more methodical. You can take your time, craft the defense's setup into your liking as attackers. Haven't really seen that. They've been fighting over maybe one hatch, maybe one wall, and the rest of it's just been a pure set of gunfights over and over again.
I really like that Strength has decided yet again to forego the Jackal, instead bringing that Capitao. Definitely the right call. On a map like Oregon, you touched on this a little bit. This map is really easy to clear out the roamers. Yes, roamers are very powerful here as they are on anywhere else, but it is not that complicated to clear out the roamers. You don't really need a Jackal to help you. That was a beautiful shot, hard to overlook. Adam going down just by a pixel. Yardy is hitting his shots right now. Sky's looking for a potential kill on the rappel. He's being baited right now by the Capitao. Could potentially cost him his life. This is not going to be easy hold. Twitch drone exposed inside of Armory. Yardy's looking for the shot. He will find it and land it as well. Skies goes down. Yardy with 2 already in this round. Is he going for the back-to-back 5K?
He's got 6 so far without anybody else coming into this. Yardy is just absolutely going yard, as his name would suggest. A bit too much of a loose roam, disjointed here for Obey, as there's just not enough connection between them.
Was it a 4K? If he had only 6.
Oh, my apologies, 7 then in that case. Yeah, he got an ace last time around.
Yeah.
He's got both the kills so far for Obey, so showing you how competent I am at being able to do math on the fly. Bosco trying to choke off Generator, and Yardy will just creep up ever so slightly. A rotate from Bosco, but oh, shut down swiftly. Bosco saying no more, and put some ice on that one.
If there's anyone to shut him down, I think Bosco's the one to do it. You can see that the setup here from Strength is still underway, though, and Benji will go down to Merc, playing on that window. A second for Merc. Great positioning on the main west window, leaving Maman after missing his C4 in a 1 versus 4. And he will die to Merc. 3 for him in the round, and 2 for the Twitch as well. So Strength takes the first half, and honestly, they look really strong.
This is as good of a showing from Strength as I think most people could have hoped for. Really living up to really living up to their role as these console gunners that have come into this. And I think now's the time where, as Obey, you got to take this a bit more seriously. Buckle down. Keep it in mind that, you now trail on a map that you've got a lot of experience on. You need to be playing a little bit closer with one another. This disjointed solo roam that is happening at the moment, that doesn't really seem to be coordinated with anybody else on the team. You gotta bring it in. You gotta tighten it up.
Here's my question. Since we're gonna have the half swap here, will Strength be just as strong as they were on attack, now on defense, or will they suffer under the set pace that Obey is gonna lay out? Because I feel like a big part, I want to say one of the strengths of Strength in the first half was that they were allowed to set the momentum. They were the ones allowed to set the tempo, just go, 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 and Obey had to respond to it as the defenders, as it always is in Siege. But now, Strength is on defense, so they're going to have to respond to what Obey is putting out. And because, again, these are a bit of a dark horse team here in Strength, there's not a lot of information. We don't know how that's going to happen. It could be that the halfway transition cripples this team for all we know. Based on how they've been playing, that would not be surprising, especially on a map like Oregon, which again, I will remind you guys, is easy to shut down roamers here. As much as they are important, it's easy to shut them down. A run out from Odd is not going to see any targets. No one spawning at the construction spawn this time around. Most of them going for Junkyard, which makes sense. We're talking about a top floor defense. This is usually where you would spawn. But a missed opportunity, still missed opportunity. The bottom of White Stairs, it'd be that mute. He's looking for a fight. Skies, though, will oblige if given the opportunity. And he will actually just die from behind to Bosco. That's great droning from Benji, allowing for Bosco to get a basically free kill. And I gotta say, the positioning there from that mute, not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, I am a bit confused as to what we're seeing. The amount of runouts, the amount of peaks, the amount of early engagements, not typical of this style of play, but
of esports.
But I mean, definitely doing a great job of cutting down on the average round time that we usually see and establishing a possible new precedent here in USN.
And I mean, it did work out for Strength when they were on attack, but like I talked about, now they have to deal with Obey setting that pace, and it looks already like it's not going to be as strong of a setup for Strength.
Yeah, I mean, even then, this is still pretty decent. This is one of the slower rounds that we've seen, as there's only been one death so far in a minute and 20 seconds. Bosco's the only person on Obey who's taken any damage. You can see the impacts blow up. Cloudstruck just waiting on the top of White Stairs with a C4 in hand.
Yeah, he missed it, unfortunately. He did hit the door frame.
So he's going to have to pick that one up, fetch the C4, and try to keep that utility in play for the rest of his team, as that could be really detrimental to any would-be attackers. Odd does get spotted out playing inside a pantry. If they can cut off this rotate into meeting hall, he will be a very dead man. You saw that the Buck of Skies was watching, but there's no presence in meeting hall right now. So the Pulse will be able to get away. As well, worth noting, we saw an M870 there in the hands of Cloudstruck. He's going to be playing tight to that angle at the top of White Stairs. With an M870, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, but it will be taken down by Bosco. Yardi gets Bosco, though, in response. So 2 for Bosco in the round, no more. Odd is still playing downstairs, still has that C4, but he's being pressured right now by the Buck. Yardi peeks wide and manages to take out Adam downstairs. Odd will win against Skies. Bosco and Maman, though, get 2, and it's all up to Merc in the 1 versus 1 after he shuts down Maman. He's in a great position to win this, but there's a lot of time for Benji. He hears Benji coming up from Generator, sees him, and what a shot from Merc! Strength take the round, and they put themselves up 4-2.
Something in the water here for Obey. Strength just seemingly, oh, what a shot from Merc, as you said. Strength just beating them on every single side right now. We're going to go down to Laundry and Supply Room and see what all is different, but right now the Gunners are showing up for Strength.
So going into this match, I'll tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, Obey, one of the best fragging teams in all of the United States and all North America, just in general. They are a heavy-set fragger team. They have the skill, the talent, the raw power. But I figured they would play as they typically do, a little bit more reserved, slow, tactical, methodical, because they're refined, experienced as a team. That is how they are. They've gotten a lot better at pacing themselves properly. And on defense, it seemed as though they were starting off with that mentality. It didn't work out great. So they shifted to the fragging, you know, the fallback to your skill, your raw power, which will so often aid Obey. But here, honestly, Strength seems to be leaning into it extremely heavy, and they have been doing that from the get-go, and it's working for them. It shouldn't, but it is, no matter how you look at it. And it's not just raw, just, you know, brain dead, stupid fragging from Strength, what we've been seeing. It's calculated, and I appreciate that, especially when they were on attack. Watching them drone themselves in, it was incredibly efficient, more so than some other teams, you know, of great repute in the United States. So I have to give massive props to Strength for that. Obey, on the other hand, they still, I think, have yet to figure out their pace, their setting, how they want to handle this match. And it's a little bit worrisome. It could just be Oregon, but right now it's working out great for Strength.
The map where good teams go to die.
That's true. That is true.
Is here. And,
yeah.
And I mean, it's one where you can play a really loose, aggressive style of play on Oregon if the other team's not taking it seriously, as I said. And I mean, I think there were a couple rounds where we saw Obey committing mistakes that they might have only committed because they could hold an opinion that they are above Strength. Well, right now, not quite the case on this scoreboard. So they're going to need to buckle down if they want to be able to pull something off. You're also dealing with a very hyper-aggressive team on Strength on the other side of things. These odd kill hole, these angles that they're holding are not they're not something that you see teams commit all the time.
Yeah, they certainly aren't, and they're a little bit, you know, on the fly, as is that Guzmat. Likely not going to happen, actually. Yeah, it gets shot out pretty easily.
Ready.
But Obey just trying to drone out these roamers on the top floor. It's been a while since we've seen a basement defense. Lots of top floor holds from both teams. Bosco going to finally make his way in the west window. He's going to have to deal with his counterpart, though. It's going to be the Ella of Odd inside of dorms. This is a great position for an Ella, especially considering he can deal with that Guzmat from Bosco. But it's finally going to be a win for Bosco, who's been really landing his shots so far in this match. Odd just a little too exposed there. And now Obey finally have control over the West Roam. However, important to note, cost them a lot of utility, a lot of drones, and most importantly, 2 minutes.
This, yeah, a slow entry for Obey. Merc just continuously going through the motions, gets a big kill. I don't understand. Merc has been just as pivotal to this team as we've seen from Yardy so far. Merc will hit the deck and get back to site. As keep in mind, most of these engagements that have happened have been on the second and the first floor, not exactly downstairs in Laundry Supply where the site is. Now you've got Obey coalescing up top. They have the hatches available at their disposal, but as good a time as any for plant denial to start kicking in, and that's why you're going to see the smoke go out. And I mean, Obey is in trouble on this round. Cloudstruck using another smoke, and Obey being choked out of a possible drop. Bosco and Skies doubling up on the back hatch inside a pill. The man will take out Cloudstruck after the final Toxic Babe goes down, so plant denial is all done. A Nitro Cell from Swerve will just miss, but Yardy, unless this smoke is able to do its job, he's going to be cut off clean. My man with one, but Swerve and Merc are there. A down from Skies. Yardy will need to be the savior for all of Strength. Plant going down, looking for coverage. He's going to walk the wrong way, and Bosco locks the round out in a big one for Obey. It's still 4-3 for Strength, but Obey needed that win.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a Strength victory, but Obey managing to get it. That's your tilt potential right there, where you're up 4-2, and you look like you're about to put it on a match point, and you just cannot make it happen. That's the sort of thing that, as a newer team, will often bring you down into a bit of a tilt where you're not going to be able to recover. And the question is, will Strength be able to recover from that? Now, they're going to go back downstairs again, because, of course, they were successful while defending the top floor. And if they defend the same way they did last time, it'll likely be shut down a lot quicker this time from Obey. They're very good at adjusting their strategy and accounting for those roams. One thing that did really blow my mind was how aggressive Merc was in Meeting Hall. Just peeking through a broken hole in Meeting Hall, that's so dangerous. Into the main lobby, with a minute left in the round, that usually just doesn't work for you, but he managed to make it happen. And despite all of that, despite Strength managing to delay for so long, Obey still won in the end.
Yardi and Merc with 18 combined kills over 7 rounds is really quite a feat, especially against a team that will typically out-frag you no matter what. Obey trailing on the scoreboard, trailing in terms of kills, not in the position that I think a lot of their fans probably expected here.
Yeah.
Strength really showing up and bringing their best game so far. Now, because this is a best of 3, we're going to see what endurance Strength has over the next couple rounds, next couple maps as well. If we need that coastline as the tiebreaker, you said that's a tilter?
5 seconds
Yeah, it can be. I think Obey played a little too cocky to start things off here, and they ran into some serious danger of possibly letting the game slip away. They really need to find that, you know, that 5th gear, that 6th gear in order to try and keep evenly matched with a team that is right now quite literally running them over.
I think that's what we always see, though, when it comes to a well-respected, high-level team that's been at it for a long time going up against a team that's less known. You usually see the more experienced team be a little bit, almost an opportunity there for Merc. He was trying to get the kill, but he will die to Skies thanks to that great droning and coordination between he and my man. Damage done to both of them, but damage is far greater on Strength's side as they have lost a player. And Merc, one of the top fraggers for his team, that's not great.
Yeah, this is rough. But, I mean, Obey has definitely taken some lumps over the course of this round. You've got Skies and my man who will be fighting from behind in terms of health. And 1 or 2 well-landed shots from the members of Strength can possibly down them. I mean, you're going to leave the most powerful weapon now for the defenders in the hands of Yardi playing on that Maestro. He wasn't able to clutch the round out last time. But so far here on Oregon, small sample size, but a pretty good viewing from what we've been able to see out of Yardi on attack. Defense, he'll have to live up to that same expectation. Map control, quite well for Obey. They've put the pressure on the meeting hall that they need. That's where Adam is positioned playing this hard breacher, whether you're going to keep him on Thatcher or whether you're going to keep him on Hibana. It's really anybody's guess. 90 seconds in, the second hatch will be gone. Obey will start to get themselves into good position to possibly drop, but Bosco just narrowly missing Yardi. It's Odd picking off Benji, the Thatcher, and Odd will get back to site.
Look at this. Look at this aggression from Yardi. He's peeking up into the meeting hall drop. That is so dangerous. You know, you're playing Maestro right now. You are one of those operators that should stay alive as long as possible, and he just wants those kills, man. And it's been working pretty well for Strength so far. But as Sky's entries in, Cloud will be taken down, and you can see Yardi get eliminated as well by Adam. And here we go, Strength falling apart now. They had a good chance in the round, but it's getting really bad. Swerve going for the pre-fire, going to miss his shots. Bosco takes out Odd. C4, well placed, could get a kill, it does, but the peak will be shut down. And Obey take the round, and even 4-4 now.
Just ran right through them like they were running through a paper bag there.
Something easy to run through.
Yes, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
The metaphor being that there was little resistance, aka...
High five?
Nope.
Do it. He did it.
Thank you.
I want it on the record.
Noted. Please have the record note that I did 5.
Yes, he did. Easy round?
A pretty easy round from Obey there. Once again, so far this entire game has just been dominated by mindless aggression.
From both teams.
Peaking when you shouldn't be peaking, not necessarily being punished for it. Teams just not expecting one another. And, you know, Odd just rotating up, getting a big kill inside a meeting when there's possibly 3 bodies there, and then Odd immediately getting back down. How do you pull that off?
Yeah, so overall, I definitely agree with you. It's kind of frustrating in a way because there's not a whole lot to talk about. And the reason there's not a whole lot to talk about is because each of these rounds are playing out the same. The strategy adjustment from both teams is interesting. What we saw there was Strength, instead of roaming, consolidating their forces in the basement. They did have roamers, but they were late roamers, mostly. And they did not roam the west side, which is curious because Obey also didn't clear the west side. They instead adjusted their strategy to a pure tower take to save some time, knowing that Strength is good at roaming that west side. So we're seeing strategic adjustments from both teams, but when it comes to the actual fights, the battles themselves, it's just peak, 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 everything for both teams.
5 seconds.
Merc seemingly AFK in the middle of this match. And that's really unfortunate because he's playing Frost, and right now he is exposed to the west window. So if Obey choose to break that west window, looks like they won't. Most of them spawning by construction. Either way, Merc could easily die at any moment here, and he has not gotten down any of his traps. He very likely will not get any of those traps down in this round at this point. This is the sort of thing that Obey is going to look back on in the VOD and be like, man, if we just open the west window.
How did we not know that?
Well, of course, they don't, you know, they're not omniscient, but at the same time, what is that? Why would you do that? I can tell you right now that Skies is saying, why is he peeking that? Why is he peeking that?
Merc seemingly back from the dead, setting down the welcome mats, and now also getting some very late prep in here, but back in just as good of a time. Obviously, realizing that time management could probably be in favor of Strength. I guess realizing you don't need the prep phase, I'm sure.
Yeah, making it work anyway. And Yardi, because he's playing Doc, after taking some damage from that engagement, going to be able to heal all the way back to 100 HP. And now, Strength need but wait for this round to conclude. What, Yardi is playing under the west window. What is that?
Just prone, lying there, waiting, holding an angle to see if someone's going to jump in through that generator window. But jeez. I mean, he's very susceptible to a push from west window, and I mean, if he pops up, he's just going to have to simply try to outduel them. That's not exactly an easy goal for him to be able to achieve. Both windows and kids' dorms will be shot out from a man playing underneath. The Capitao has not been a pivotal operator, typically, for Obey. Not in terms of gadget usage. So we'll see what they can make work with that. Odd playing by the doorway inside of that rear stage. He's got the C75 in his hands, gadget on. Just above him is Adam, situated on the stairs. Merc dying. Adam is going to have the impact hole go up just behind him, and that's going to be the Hibana forced to peel off. There's a flash down, and Odd blinded to see if Adam is going to go for the play or not. But keep in mind, that entire wooden panel behind him on the stairs, blown open. If he doesn't look to see where Odd is, he's going to be exposed.
Yeah, he's playing it about as safe as he can, though, not wanting to die to this Vigil. And, you know, Odd's doing his job right now. He's just delaying. He's going to be spotted on that drone, but he will lose the fight. As soon as Odd is able to get that pistol onto Adam's head, he manages to win it out, leaving just Benji and Bosco. Benji pushing his way up the white stairs. He's looking for the angle to swerve. He is not able to find it on the swerve, but he will find it onto Yardi, who finally gets shut down after being so aggressive throughout the round. Cloud misses his C4 once more. He's been playing this angle a lot with that C4, but unable to be successful so far. He still has the M870, though. That's going to be very powerful. The Frostmat works onto Benji, and Bosco goes down to the blast from Cloud Struck. What a round for Strength. They are now on match point.
What a turn of events here for Strength. Just showing up, Obey not knowing how to handle them. Tough. But keep in mind, the only site that we've seen Strength win on is dorms. They've done it twice now. They lost both laundry supply rooms because they just couldn't muster up a significant defense off-site. And when they did try to get back to site, they just got clobbered by Obey. Obey controlling the hatches, Obey pushing from one side, basically pinning Strength to the other bomb site and then finishing them off as Strength wasn't able to possibly get a retake after Diffuser goes down. So what happens now is we're going to see another laundry room, supply room defense. So is third time a charm here to put Oregon into the win column for Strength and stun Obey, or do we have overtime ahead of us?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks honestly a lot like we're going to be seeing overtime, considering Strength has yet to win a defense on the basement. They've gone there twice now. They were pretty close on the first time. Though, considering their strategy, I believe there's a grave inconsistency, and I think that this could go either way. It's a bit of a 75-25, you know, type of deal right now in my mind. I think Obey's likely to push us to OT, but who knows? Strength have opted to bring Swerve on the Clash, so we haven't seen Clash. I haven't seen Clash at all. I believe so far in this match, but for the very last round potentially, she will be brought out. Very powerful operator, able to delay the push quite a lot, and considering how this match has been played, that could be fantastic for Strength. Or it could take away from their fragging power, which is seemingly the most valuable resource in this entire match.
I'm very excited to see the way that Swerve plays this Clash here, as you mentioned. I mean, she's been such a focus for us. New operators always tend to be, and they do end up getting, I think, a bit a bit extra time in the spotlight when we see them debut, because there's a fascination involving how they fit. What, you know, are they going to be that square peg that fits into the, you know, the square slot, or are they going to be the circular peg that doesn't quite make it? So how teams use Clash has been very interesting. Strength has been exceptionally confrontational in every single round. Even
Good words.
But Clash is not an operator that I think you're going to get the most usage out of by employing her earlier in the rounds, because you can use your utility, which you will still have in spades there, to flush her out and get the kill. It's only when you really see Clash basically fortified in the site, played like an anchor, that you get the most value out of her. Yeah,
that's pretty much what we've been seeing from every team that's been playing her so far. And I remember vividly when we saw G2 as an example, they were trying to play Clash on Jonas, and every time he would be roaming as G2 do, and he would just get shut down, shut down, shut down. But you know, you see teams that choose to play her a lot more conserved, and it will do a lot more work in the end, because that little dance with the utility, like you talked about, has already happened. It's up to Blasco. He's going to be one of the most valuable operators, he and Map1, to take out that Clash with the fire bolts, the asphyxiating bolts, and the Grismots from the lifeline. No matter what, though, Obey have taken control of tower, and they're looking to apply pressure to the meeting hall. Odd playing all the way on the far south side by the main lobby. He knows the pressure is coming from tower, as most of the basement attacks have thus far in this match. That's unfortunate that there's no rotation hole in the kitchen. That could give an opportunity to the defense, but it's not there.
It's always funny to see how when it's match point, game on the line, teams always slow down because they try to take it as patiently as they can. Oh, Benji opens things up big with a double onto Odd and Merc. The Legion and the Jaeger gone from Strength. And a 5v3 with only 30 seconds to go, but Yardy's here on a big flank. He can jump in, shut down from Skies. The Sledge watching flank. The Clash and the Smoke will have double duty. Cloudstruck taking projectiles from multiple angles. A second kill from Skies. Clash in a 1v5. Hard to find yourself walking away from that with the shield or the burst SMG. We'll tie it up and send us to overtime now as Obey manages to get the round that they needed more than anything else.
Impact rounds. And the way that Strength chose to play that, pushing into the meeting hall, you were saying, yeah, teams tend to slow down, and you're right, but Strength clearly not dissuaded from just pushing everything and trying to take the fights. Now then, in that moment, it did not work out for them. Again, I have to say, if there were rotation holes in attic, in the kitchen wall, then I think Strength would have had more opportunities to push meeting hall, instead of just coming from the meeting hall entrance, which is so easily shut down. But Obey managed to make it work because they negated that rush from the meeting hall entrance, and Kids Dorms will be the first defense here, which makes a lot of sense. Strength have yet to lose this defense.
So,
Defenders, protect your bombs from
laundry supply room.
attackers.
If Strength wins this and then Obey wins their defense, that's trouble for Strength, just by having the coin flip designate you as defender twice. There's a lot of things that I think you can say about this matchup in particular. It's been one of the fastest matches, even though we are now already in overtime, making up for lost time, I think, that we saw when the servers were having issues earlier on. But you can't say it hasn't been exciting. Yeah. It's been really interesting to watch as these teams try to get around these separate play styles. And I mean, this kind of aggression that we see from Strength is not something that teams at the highest levels are used to playing against. It's very odd.
Yeah, it's definitely a high action match. I think both teams just looking for their fights. Explosions and chaos ensue. And the setup for Strength in this round here, going to be a little bit spread out on the top floor, but that's pretty much the objective here. Odd is seemingly playing, I believe, by Junk Tower, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, there are no roamers. So this position, powerful, especially if Obey choose to ignore it. He's just peeking everything. He just opened all the windows, and he's just looking for a fight, looking for somebody to peek into him. And that can work out, but Obey are seemingly calculating their moves quite a lot more. They've decided to clear out from the master side, so it's going to be a generator push here. They have all the right tools for it. A Habana instead of a Thermite, but still definitely workable on that generator wall. Interesting that we're not seeing the Bandit trick the generator wall in this round, though I'm sure Obey would have answers for that if it were the case. He's playing in the hallway with the M870. This could be a free kill on Bosco if he reads it right. The melee onto the barbed wire, but Cloud will just run away. Interesting call there.
I think it's too important for him to continue bandit tricking here, but he's going to see another EMP go down. The blue glow will give the EMP's position away, but Cloudstrike still has one available. So he could possibly keep Adam at bay, as Obey not bothering to really run with the Thermite at all, just using that Hibana there, trying to get this wall open desperately.
Well, Cloudstruck's going to be forced off the bandit tricking. Worried about that hallway window. Very dangerous. He's got the pistol out. Not the most optimal weapon to challenge this. Yardi Sosa playing on a tight angle, but a predictable one. Easily pre-fired. Meanwhile, Swerve trying to hold on to downstairs. Skies will be the one to contest him. Odd is still coming back from the junk tower. He will seemingly be aware of the potential for somebody inside a kitchen, but Skies actually in kitchen right now, droning out looking for a kill. Odd has an opportunity here to catch his opponent off guard while he's droning for himself, but it does not seem to be. And Skies finally comes off.
So close to this confrontation. Odd will just only have that sideways table to really, that overturned table, to possibly protect him. And Skies could be able to get a very clean kill here. My man will find one for Obey to start things off. Probably the latest kill that we've had in one of these rounds. So long to Merc. Execute going down in full swing. Cloud sees one, drops him with the M870. Swerve a C4 kill. Cloudstruck going for a second. Diffuser is down. Can he work against the tides of Obey? It's a 3v3. Yardi taking damage. The dog trying to outduel both Bosco and my man fall. Cloudstruck another M870 kill. But Skies with the Ash. This is a frightening prospect. He needs to find the mute in time. Swerve will get it. And Strength will move back to match point. So close for the Ash of Skies, but looks the wrong way.
Could you imagine he turns right there, manages to get the 3K and win the round? It was so very close, as you said. Strength, though, winning out in the end. And that's a big win for them. But now they're going to have to go on to attack. Question is, where will Obey choose to go? Now, they were equally successful on both sites, winning one defense on the top floor and one defense on the bottom floor. So there is no surefire choice here for them, though they did lose quite a lot more on that top floor than they did on the bottom floor. And it will be, as a result, a basement hold for Obey. They're going to have to make this work. They were not as strong on defense as they were on attack, that's for sure. But they can make this happen if they push it. The operator lineup, mostly making sense. I'm kind of surprised that we've been seeing so little Valkyrie. She's been getting 6-picked off of quite a lot, especially for Obey so far in this match.
Possibly fearing maybe a 6th pick on IQ, but I mean, that doesn't really make much sense given that Strength is not running IQ at all.
That's the thing, is I think they're faking out for an IQ 6-pick. I think that's why they keep going Valkyrie and then 6-picking into something else. But in this case, it was a 6-pick onto a Pulse, so that doesn't really play to that logic. More importantly, yeah, what you said, Strength doesn't seem to want to play IQ. So, possibly an advantage that you could gain for your team, but choosing not to. They have great operators aside from that, though. Nothing wrong with their current lineup.
Obey won dorms once, lost it twice. Won laundry once, lost it once. So
they're going off losses.
Pretty even. They're going to go with laundry, where they have a better record by one site. So one of Obey's biggest criticisms as a team has been that their roam is not connected. They don't always back each other up. They don't always fight for trades as well as other teams do. But here's the biggest issue. It's match point, and Strength is just going to go for broke. They're going to hit construction hard. My man is there. Guns down 1-2, my man. Traded off by Cloudstruck. Bosco is there, and Obey will feast upon Strength. Strength in numbers, sure, but you're going to have to peel off. And Merc and Cloudstruck, I think, wisely reading that it's a 4v2 now with Obey's favor. You tried. You tried your best. It didn't work. Pivot and see what you can make happen over the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds in this round.
So here's the really dangerous thing now. Strength have not won a defense of the basement, and they cannot go back to the top floor. So now when we go to the final round, which is very likely, Strength is going to have to do something they've never done before. Merc trying to get a kill onto Adam, who is peeking at the bottom of those laundry stairs. He will not win the fight against Benji. A nice try. Cloudstruck will refrag it, but it's now a 1 versus 3, and Cloud has very... it was about 49 HP. That's not enough. It's not enough to make this work. Gas canister going to do no damage, surprisingly.
I can't believe he managed to get away with that without taking even a single tick of damage, but...
Yeah.
I mean... this is definitely still winnable. I mean, it will have to be a slugfest from Cloudstruck as the diffuser is basically miles away at this point, and he's going to have open hatches where you bet Obey is going to be playing under looking up towards. Cloudstruck doesn't have the advantage of being able to take long angles. He doesn't have an ACOG equipped on that C8. It's just a hollow. And yeah, I mean, you can still fight well, but you're not going to have the same optical advantage that you're going to have from Adam, who's running an ACOG on that Alda, who can see you presumably better than you can see him.
He's looking for maybe somebody inside of construction. He will spot Bosco, who's playing there, as well as Skies. So good information here for Cloud. Hopefully he did see Bosco. We saw him clearly on the screen. But he doesn't actually seem to be aware of Bosco playing that position. He will drop, hear the shotgun, and lose to Bosco's shotgun, which is far superior in an actual fight. So 6-6, final round. This next one, the decider. And like I said, Strength have yet to win a basement defense. They're going to have to do so now.
If I'm Strength, I don't go to laundry supply room.
You're going to go somewhere else?
Throw a curveball, go to tower. Throw a curveball, go to kitchen.
I mean, knowing them.
You've lost laundry supply room every single time you've played it. At least you can say that if you go to another site, you tried something else. You can throw that unpredictability, that wrench into Obey's plans. But with only 10 seconds left on this countdown, it looks like laundry room and supply room will be the play.
Those are the only two sites we've seen so far throughout this match, which is typical for Oregon. But it also means just neither team able to really consistently win those defenses. I mean, I kind of agree with you, I guess. And based on how the way that Strength plays, seems like something they would do. They just rushed on match point the round prior. And it cost them the round, sure. But that's them being a team that's capable of just making a spontaneous play, committing to it. So going to something like Tower or Kitchen really ties into that. But
I mean, you're gonna walk from it, and if Strength loses this, I mean, what are you gonna say in your postmortem? Yeah, we lost laundry supply room every time we went there.
Yeah,
we obviously got to figure that out.
We get a better basement defense.
Get a better basement defense, obviously. Yeah. Even though teams, there's only been now two after that last round. There's only been 2 successful defenses of the basement, which speaks really to what I said about the way that these operator bans are working, is that the attackers are going to be quite heavily favored there attacking that site, given that they have all the hard breach and utility with only a Lion and a Glass missing. Yeah, Lion did wreak havoc on that site, and that's why a lot of teams were going up to dorms when Lion was so prevalent, but now that he's banned, he can go back downstairs.
You know, the interesting thing for me is that the way that these teams have been playing on defense is because of their lack of Mira and Echo. They've been getting just crazy aggressive. Pushing everything, you know, taking all the fights they can, roaming quite a lot. And that reinforces their defensive playstyle, but it also, the operators that are missing, if playing an anchor playstyle would not influence the match very much, because the way that nobody's attacked from the main lobby yet. We have not seen a laundry take once throughout this whole match, and we've gone to the last possible round. Both teams have been attacking consistently from the tower, from construction. They've been taken from the north on this basement hold. Now, sometimes they'll clear out the west, but they almost always focus on the meeting hall drops and the tower. So the lack of a mirror, lack of an echo, echo almost doesn't mean anything in this scenario. Mira does. And she does influence that back take, certainly. Having a mirror window facing your back hallway is great. But still, overall, just a weird match.
Well, I mean, we've seen a construction rush. We've seen...
Looks like this is the first launch, by the way.
I'm so intrigued at what we're watching just unfold in front of us. You even had right there, Odd looking to go for a press into meeting hall with the match on the line, knowing that there might be multiple bodies in there. That's just a really heavy gamble that you don't always need to take. Skies will have time for a reset, losing so much health. You can get reset really at any time.
No.
But I think Strength has read this perfectly. They know that the pressure is going to be coming from this main hatch this time around, and Obey is set up very well for this execute. Skies will finish off Yardy, very low on HP for Skies, so that's a huge kill onto the Maestro. He's going to look to keep that rolling.
Yeah, the Maestro was the most important operator, is still the most important operator, but being gone, that's huge. Strength being a little bit predictable here. Pushing into Meeting Hall, I am all but certain Obey has this locked up, and yes, indeed, Benji will be holding it from the kitchen. There is no way that this flank is going to work out. It would have to be incredible luck for it to, and it looks like Benji's actually going to lose the first fight, but win the second. Adam takes out Merc, who's also rushing upstairs. Bosco takes down Cloud, leaving it into a 1 versus 1. My man does get a TK onto Adam, so great job, but Swerve has missed his C4, which means he's not going to be able to deny the defuse plan. Going for a peek onto the drop down, and he loses it outright. Benji, great job shutting down the flank and getting that final kill. Good haves come out in the chat. It was a well-fought first map all the way. 7-6. You don't often see that. And I just hope that it is boding of our future maps to come.
Strength just putting in an incredible performance. This might be the biggest stage that we've seen this team play on with, you know, the viewers, the channel, etc., playing here on US Nationals, and this is the spirit of this league. This is why USN exists, is to give teams like this an opportunity to shine.